everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. And we have a little bit to do today. I need to get all of this done and be certain to get it done right now, because the League of Explorers adventure, I believe, which is unavailable right now, is going to become available tomorrow. As of the recording. Well, obviously as of the recording this time. So after I do all of this, these quests today and the Tavern Brawl, I then need to start spending that gold. Which, why is my gold not showing right here? The update has changed some things. Actually, I kind of knew the update had changed some things, because when I started this, it said a new intro, a new little audio intro. So let's go ahead and start with the Tavern Brawl. We are going to be doing, what was this called? Showdown at Blackrock Mountain. 2 epic bosses of Blackrock Mountain are settling things once for all with your help. Kind of not a surprise that we're doing Blackrock Mountain here, because that was the previous, so, well, wasn't it? Interesting. These are alphabetical now. Interesting. Nyxramas came before Blackrock Mountain, but they've moved it around. They're just messing with everything. Anyways, Blackrock Mountain was the last solo adventure, so they probably aren't going to feel too good about reusing this tavern battle. Although I suspect they will. I wouldn't be surprised if they just created a Nyxramas one too and threw that in also. Had an interesting question on my most viewed video, which is the how to set up the Hearthstone deck tracker. Someone asked what the little dice and cards and the 1% and then 2% means. And honestly, I didn't have a clue. I haven't really done a ton of research on what these things mean or not, so I went to the help of the program, read it, figured it out myself, and then responded hopefully correctly. Jeez, we're starting with 4 mana. A random spell that costs 0. I think I could do this, but then if I did do that, that would be weird. Let's do this, and then this.
Job's done.
And end the turn. So what it is the 1 then a percentage is the odds that you will draw any card that has only one copy in your deck. So right now it's not very useful, since we don't have this deck saved, because it's a this one deals 1 damage to all other minions. Alright. Do I want to get this, or I want to do this? Wow, these spells.
Steam emitters activated.
What's one? This one's death rattle deals 8 damage to a random enemy. So the numbers right now don't mean anything, but the 2 means if you have 2 copies of a card, what the odds are that you'll draw any specific card. The best way I could explain it is to say, if I had 3 cards left in my deck, and there were 2 copies of one card and 1 copy of a different card, it should say 33.3% and 30, well, actually it should say Yeah, 33.3% on the 1, because there's a 1/3 chance to get the card that you only have 1 copy of, and then it should say... I guess I could have left that guy alone. And then for the 2 cards, it should say 66.7%, because that would be rounded up. It would be 6.6 if they just dropped the next decimal place. But I assume it rounds up. It seems like it would. Alright. New spell. At the end of each turn, summon all the Corehound pups that died this turn. So I'd have to kill both of these, which really wouldn't be that difficult. So let's go ahead and do that.
To the pretender.
I have 5 left. I could deal 1 in overload. I don't see a real reason why I'd want to do that though. Just go ahead and end the turn there. So that's just really a great situation though. I love, it's helpful for people to ask questions that are useful. They came back? How? These things just don't die at all? It seems like. Gain control of an enemy until the end of the turn. What does that help? We'll just go, I suppose, we'll just sit here and focus on the face here and hopefully win this Tavern Brawl on the first try. This would be a terrible Tavern Brawl to have that have the challenge of ooh, actually I'm gonna do Shadow Flame. Ooh, this is actually gonna work rather well. Well, actually, no, that won't work. Destroy a friendly minion and do that much damage. Let's see, fill your board with whelps. Give me another spell. Add 2 random class cards to from your opponent's class. Interesting. Wow, coins. Okay, this is going to be interesting. We'll go ahead and take this, and then we'll do this, and then deal 3 damage here, and then attack the face a couple times. And then end the turn there. I think that'll work quite nicely. But yes, it's great to have back and forth conversation with my fans, or I don't know if people that really watch that video are my fans or not. They may become my fans, but if this is the first and only video they watch. But it's still good to have back and forth. It gave me a reason to spend the energy to go learn something new. Ooh. This is gonna summon Emperor Therusian if I kill one of these guys, unfortunately. Whenever you draw a card, I think I have to do this. Do do this, do this, do this. Choose a minion, shuffle 3 copies into your hand. Into your deck. I'll take 3 copies of that, why not? Go ahead and hit this. Hit this, and hit this. I think we're doing fine. So what else is going on? Not a ton. I'm now trying to blame my laziness on seasonal affective disorder. We're getting into the winter months. There's less sunlight. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired. And there's Fallout 4. There's a great reason why I'm not playing games enough. I'm watching people play Fallout 4. I'm not playing it myself. There's Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is slightly of interest to watch. Oh, man, I can't believe... Oh well, I suppose that was still the right move to do. And then there's still a little bit of Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Right at this point, Afterbirth, it has lost its time in the spotlight. Any hopes of getting a free copy, Steam key, right now don't seem realistic. Also damages minions next to it. Let's try this. Destroy 2 random minions, discard 2 random cards. What? Oh, I guess that would help if he has 2 random minions, but right now it doesn't. Well, there's a full board. If he can't put something up, I'll win this next turn. Otherwise... Ah, at the end of your turn. Darn it. At the start of your turn, your minions +3 attack. Let's go ahead and do this. Tracking. Suppose we should just play tracking. What would help us? I guess I'll take this. Now what do I want to do? The whelps won't help. So we'll do this.
Job's done.
And end the turn. If he has another enemy random, if he puts another enemy, I can play this next time. Dark Barbie. But he's gonna kill himself if he's not careful. Just the 2 damage there alone is gonna do it. So spell. Phantom Knives deal 2 damage, draw a card. Let's see. This. And then this. And then this. And then that for victory. Great! Took a while. So yeah, I've been real lazy, but I did finish Mark of the Ninja, which I was doing as a small comparison to Transistor. There really wasn't a lot to compare there. Mark of the Ninja is great. Transistor was very disappointing. I had a great time playing Mark of the Ninja again. It is a game that potentially should be played like 3 or 4 times through, but I'm just went through it once. The special DLC extra level, it turns out, was disappointing because I thought it was going to be somewhere around 3 to maybe 8 levels, and it was only 1 that was kind of long. Hey, we did get 1 new card. Good. There's our gold. I wonder why the gold wasn't showing before. Must be a bug in the system. Now I just have to play 3 games of Warrior and 3 games of Warlock. We're playing the W people today. So we'll just start with Warlock, I guess. Let's see. I'll even come over here and readjust the overlay, which requires me to bring up my start menu, start bar thing. That's the main problem right now with the Hearthstone deck tracker, is it just doesn't, after a game, turn off use no deck. It just stays there for a while. It should pop up a secondary box saying, do you want to, we've detected this deck in matches, do you want to play it? I'm not sure what my Warlock deck really is right now. I went through all of the League of Explorer cards, and there was one card in particular that was a mage card that I really wish had been a Warlock card, because it limited the amount of damage you can take at one time to 1. And if that was a Warlock card, you're talking you would really make Warlock decks playable. Like, I don't think that many people, if anybody, plays Warlock in the professional league. I'm sure there are a few, but I don't see a lot of people. But if all of a sudden you could summon this, it was like a 4-mana creature, I think, that limits you down to 1 damage. That means every time he life taps, you'd only take 1 damage. Every single one of the demon cards that damage yourself, you would only be taking 1 damage then. It would really turn around what is a rather weak character to play, instead making him a pretty powerful card. But they put it in the mage, which, of all the other people to pick, why put it in the mage? Mage is already way too overpowered. Mage is super easy for people to play. They don't need to make it more easy. I don't think so, at least. Darn it. Didn't want to lose that card. Here we go. That's what I was hoping to get. There's like no reason whatsoever for the mage to have a card that limits the amount of damage you take down to 1. That seems ridiculous. There are no mage cards I know of that damage yourself. So I think that was a huge mistake, but also I think that card was probably the best card in the League of Explorers. There's a few that give you weird things that you're gonna have to just play with first to see what happens before you can be 100% certain that this guy's gonna die.
Feel my pain.
Like, even right now, I'm taking damage. If I had that card, I'd be so much, so well set. I'm losing just because I'm drawing cards right now. So I need to quit doing that.
I am freed from the curse.
Another thing that was really weird about the deal 2 damage to all non-demons. Do I want to do that right now? Destroy a minion and deals damage to everybody?
Here we go!
I Guess I'll try that.
Done.
So League of Explorers introduces a new concept called Discover, and then it uses the concept and it explains it as Discover is you just go into your deck and pick a card. And I assume nobody's played it yet. That means you're going to get to pick any of your cards, which could be really weird if you have a deck just full of spells and you play one creature that has a discover a spell card. You may get like 29 options on the screen, which will be an interesting just question as far as to how they're going to go about and solve that problem of how that will be displayed. But then there was one card that said like discover something completely different. So it didn't get a card out of your deck at all. It was like discover something else. I don't even remember. If you watch my video that I made of it, I talk about it for a little bit, and it seems really weird that they were just stretching it. It also seems kind of weird that there weren't a lot of mechs or anything. Let's see. Destroy friendly minion and deal damage to all equal minions. This gives it 3/3. That does 3/3, which brings him back alive.
Well played.
It saves me for one turn, but one turn only.
You call that?
So there is some things about the League of Explorers I do like. I like that they're giving out more cards than they're they're taking out one wing. Possibly only because it is just going to be a in the middle of I've lost. Might as well just go out on my own terms. It's coming out with Thanksgiving in the middle, so maybe that's why they're getting rid of the fifth wing. But I think that's also a great excuse just not to have less wings, have less bad guys. Although, honestly, I think they would have been fine if they just said we were never going to do a solo adventure again, and we were done with it. And that could be the case, really. Still, they could have had League of Explorers in the pipeline before they did, while they made the decision not to make it. That would all. No, I don't know if they actually have made the decision to stop making solo adventures or not, but it's a possibility that they have, and I hope they have. Solo adventures are not what this game needs. It just doesn't need solo adventures. It needs people that are. It needs just card pack expansions. A lot of the cards that got added, a good chunk of them at least, were not of any value. I don't think I'd ever play them, but I guess that's alright. Even in card pack expansions or in solo adventures, either way, not every single card needs to be useful. There can be garbage cards, but ideally you don't want to make cards that are just everybody knows they're terrible and there's no reason to play them. Ideally what you would want to do is have a card that is super underpowered, but then for some reason works in some weird combo and has an actual use. A great example of that is if you've watched the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon, which really just made up the cards as they were going along. So that's why they are ridiculous and the rules were always changing. But there was a card called Karibo that was like cost the 1 unit to summon, did 1 damage and 1 health, and that was pretty much the lowest, weakest card ever. But then over the years and over the time, they added probably half a dozen cards that specifically healed or powered up a Karibo, and if you had these 6 cards and you played them on a Karibo, then you would potentially have a super powerful creature. And Hearthstone hasn't gotten to that point yet. There are a few cards that say power up like silver hand servants or paladins or things like that, and it is still somewhat a mess too, because you some will say like power up your beasts, and there is an entire category of cards called beasts, and some will say power up your Northshire clerics, which means just the clerics, and I guess you need both options, but that makes it a little bit more confusing. Well, I thought I was gonna win there. I'm not sure I am now. Yeah, I don't know why I think I'm gonna win half the time. That was a mistake. They should have attacked my face first and summoned that later. The reason being, of course, this was next to this and would have given it a +2 attack. So he could have done 2 more damage than what he did.
May my ancestors.
Let's go ahead and take this guy out. So he's got to kill something now. He'll probably kill this one or try to summon 2 things to kill this one. But I still very much have lost. I'm just playing for Valor now. Yeah, so I finished Mark of the Ninja. I wasn't even supposed to do Mark of the Ninja. I was supposed to do Hitman Absolution. That needs to get recorded very fast. But I've now, because I was surprised by the solo adventure, League of Explorers, and Hearthstone, I've now, starting tomorrow, need to cover all of that and get that out as fast as possible. I'm not waiting. I'm just gonna cover every boss, make a video, put it out there. Then
Leaving time.
oh, I didn't know this guy only damages your own minions. I think that probably should be taken out of my deck. Let's see. Well, nothing's gonna save me now. So yeah, I have to do League of Explorers. By the time I'm done with League of Explorers, I may have a few hours, maybe a day, before I get to the final episode of Game of Thrones. I'll be glad to be done with Game of Thrones after I do that. That again, need to just get that out. I'll do a daily release on that one, I suppose. Might as well. That,
Gul'dan versus Valera.
what sucks particularly about the Game of Thrones one
Shall be mine.
series is that I can tell you already that I will get content ID'd for the music of the Game of Thrones in the intro. So the first video I record will have that in there. Certainly it will get content ID'd, and the vast majority of all the votes, views it's gonna get for a while at least is not gonna be monetized at all. It's hardly like it matters, I suppose, unless that one video gets thousands and thousands of views. It's not really anything to care about. But it's annoying nonetheless. So ideally, I would want to get rid of these two cards, and that way when I play this, I won't actually discard two cards, but then this might not get as powered up if I do that. Well, I don't have a choice. We'll just do that. Once I'm done with Game of Thrones, I'm also done with Telltale Games that are currently releasing the DLC for Walking Dead 2, Michonne, or Mahone, whatever that is. Isn't something I'm planning on getting anytime soon, so, because it doesn't connect to the main story, or if it does in a very weird way.
I am freed from the curse.
And because of that, I can now kind of just hold back on any future Telltale games than I plan to. I still have plenty of old Telltale games, and I've realized in an oversight on my part that there are other point-and-click adventure games like the Tales from Monkey Island series that aren't Telltale games that I needed, or I wish and hope to get. Alright, I guess that works.
A paltry task you command.
Take this blade.
7 more damage. I think I've got this one in the bag. Watch me screw up some magical way and still lose. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for all Telltale games in the future to be completely done. It's just, it makes for a terrible release schedule. It makes for a terrible experience.
So many options.
If I ever ran out of games, which is not my goal. My goal is to do the exact opposite, never run out of games. But I am starting to. Part of that, of course, is that the old games are getting put on their own separate list now. Things like the original Tomb Raider and the original Hitman are so old that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to cover them at all. Do just maybe a spotlight on them.
I get
Stuff like that. But some of the collections of games on Steam, if in retrospect, it might be worth people's money to just save. Like, if they were going to get the Hitman collection, maybe they should just get like Hitman Absolution, save themselves the $4 difference between buying that single game when it's on sale versus buying the entire collection. Because Steam can trick you. They can definitely trick you
Get
if
off,
you're
versus
not a
who's there?
YouTuber who wants to have
I
a
will
ton
fight
of games
with
regardless of their quality.
victory or death.
They can definitely trick you by saying, well, this collection is 90% off or 99% off, so you'll save more if you buy more, but technically that will cost more money, but you have more games. Well, if you're a regular gamer and you're never going to play Hitman 1 because it was made in 2002 and it won't run properly on a computer in 2015, then really you've just wasted that money. So yeah, I'm learning. I'm growing a backlog in some sense, but I'm not really growing a terrible backlog as much as I am just trying to get the games played. The worst backlog that I really am having right now, if I think about it, is the fact that 2015 is coming to an end, where as of recording, I'm right into when Fallout 4 came out. And so we have Fallout 4 right now, we have Tomb Raider 2, those are the two games I remember right now. There is the DLC for the Talos Principle, the DLC for Witcher 3. There's probably a ton of other games that came out earlier this year that I'm not remembering, so maybe they don't really matter. But as I go forward through the year 2016, because I'm not really expecting to buy any new games in 2016. Even if I was going to buy the new games that come out in 2016, you're talking probably somewhere in late October would be when I start buying games for 2016. I've got a whole year of really long
That
games.
was a mistake.
And I would really like to play things like, if you have a menu with taunt, gain a durability. I'll take that. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake.
Bring it on.
Oh well. So I have to kill one of these guys just to protect this guy. So that was a waste of a durability. I should have done this instead. Yep, and I still didn't protect this guy. If I had done that, would I have protected him? Maybe.
Ready to flee.
So yeah, there's a growing backlog for the games in 2015, and I have to get those games, of course. And then there will be a growing backlog of older games. But a lot of it too is just remakes are gonna start happening.
Get behind me.
With the new consoles, and with the new console remakes coming out, we're gonna start seeing some other things happen. Jeez, how can I solve this problem? I can attack this guy and then do 2 damage to the enemy hero. And I think I have to do that. I'm having some conflicting thoughts too. As I watch people play Fallout 4, I'm having some very conflicting thoughts about how to go about and play Borderlands. I've almost completely convinced myself to play it the proper way, to do every single mission and side quest. Borderlands in particular, that's not super, that's not going to increase the length of the game that much. But I'm also thinking, like, for Skyrim, then I probably should do that too. Not every single mission, because that's impossible to do since they randomly generate, but I am starting to think it's just not a realistic gameplay style of gameplay to run through Skyrim and do the main story. Plus, I don't feel like that really is the main interest of a game like Skyrim. It might very easily be
What you want?
be the worst part of the game is to just do that, do the main story. So yeah, as I watch more people play Fallout, I'm thinking, if I was played Fallout 3, which I actually did play Fallout 3, where I just accidentally ran in through the main story and missed a bunch of the rest of the story, and I didn't have fun with it. So what can I do? I wanna, let's see, this, and this, I suppose. Attack this. I've got to kill this guy.
Watch this.
How he got that guy up to a 10, I don't
Well
know.
played.
I should have played that. Should have looked and seen how he got that Murloc up to a 10.
Reporting for
So, but also when I'm watching Fallout 4, I'm seeing how in a lot of ways it's different than Fallout 3, and it's kind of putting me off the thought of buying and playing Fallout 3. I think maybe New Vegas might be the better game to get and play. Alright. This is exactly what I needed. Taunt.
Practice makes
Taunt. Weapon. Armor. Health. I should have put the taunt on this guy actually. Instead. So we take this guy out, and we heal him up like that, and then we take this guy out, and then we hit him in the face.
Job's done.
Yep, that seems like that's gonna work. So at best he can use his 2 creatures to kill these 2.
Reporting for duty.
Deal 1 damage and give it +2 attack. This. This. And then, do I want to power this guy up more? Or will he be fine? I think he'll be fine. So we'll go ahead and do that. Take this guy out. Do this. And do this.
Well played.
And I think we've got it. This will be the last game we played today. Well, in this recording. It won't be the last game I play today, for sure. So yeah, I'm a little bit iffy as to if I would want to play Fallout 3 right now. I think maybe I just want to skip to Fallout 4. All the stories aren't really connected. Or maybe I'd go back and play Fallout 1. Do a real retrospective. Let's see what the original game was like, because that was significantly different. Fallout 4 is very much a run and gun shooter, it seems like now, more than an
Leaving time.
The victory is yours.
He just gives up immediately. It feels more run and gun. It feels like they solved a lot of the problems that would be inherent and very noticeable. One of the major things about Fallout 4 is, as far as I understand it, there's no level cap, and that means I could play with the stats significantly better and differently than I'd have to play, because there is like a perfect build in Fallout 3. You put like 3 points into, you put 9 points into intelligence, then you run to a specific point on the map and get a bobblehead that gives you 10 points into intelligence, which is the maximum. Then you play the game, and it seems silly that you have to do it that way, but that's the only way to do it to get your level up to the maximum. Anywho, that's going to be it for this episode. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it and make a donation. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.